Welcome to another episode of The Golf Guys. My name is Jody. I'm here with Claudio. Claudio, can you hear me okay?
I can hear you, Jody. Great to be back.
Now, I know you're in your home office as we continue to navigate through the latter stages of this lovely pandemic, although it looks like here, for full disclosure, Claudio and I are both in Ontario, which has been like, what have we been like the last on the planet to drop restrictions and stuff. So it's kind of been a slow journey for us, but we're slowly returning to normal. But our hope is that we will be able to be in person doing these shows in the very near future. But in the meantime, Claudio has outfitted his office with unbelievable technology. What were you telling me? You dropped like 30 grand on your studio?
I've just chucked it all out because I am now packing my bags again. In 2 weeks, I am on the road, my friend. The traveling golfer is traveling again.
So you've got a big trip planned, and we are going to be, I'm sure we'll hear some more details about that as these shows progress. And of course, we're excited for golf season in Canada. I'm sure there's some areas, obviously, that are warmer than others. Here in my neck of the woods, we're still, I'm guessing, about 3 to 4 weeks away from full-on golf. That would be my earliest prediction. And where you are, Claudio, what's considered an early opening in your area? Because you are, well, tell where exactly are you in Ontario?
I'm just south of Collingwood, and that would be an hour and a half north of the Toronto airport for anybody who doesn't know Ontario. Um, we just got dumped with 1.5 feet of snow yesterday. So,
Oh,
and it was
wow.
-7 this morning. So, I don't know. Normally, we might have had a round or two in on courses that don't really care about what what they do. Then they just let anybody play. But that's not going to happen before I get away this year. So, who knows? It'll probably be the end of April for good golf courses.
And is that normal though in your area?
Pretty much. Pretty
Okay.
much.
And I'm an hour and a half east of Toronto in Belleville, Ontario. And I know last year, because I was talking to one of the golf course operators in our area, last year we were actually playing on April the 8th. So, I mean, we're close. I don't think it's going to be April the 8th in our area. I'm guessing probably closer to Easter weekend, but definitely April. And so that's exciting for all involved. I cannot wait. Although you mentioned you're going to be going somewhere warmer very, very soon, and then when you get back, you should be in the full throw of things. Well, close to it anyway. And then you can always drive anywhere and play anywhere you want because you're like welcomed on every course, right? Is that right? Like you're like a legend.
Because I'm the traveling golfer. And you know what? Now I'm also the golf travel specialist for Golfing Magazine in the Northeast USA.
Oh,
How do you
seriously?
like that?
Okay. How do you get a title like that?
Well, it was just kind of thrown at me, so I took it.
Okay,
And
we have what's that?
it just expands the reach of what I've been doing from 60 some odd thousand with the traveling golfer to well over 350,000. So that's pretty significant.
Yeah, no, you definitely have a big reach, and we're looking forward to increasing that as we continue with this program. And of course, I've been on a little bit of a hiatus from doing the broadcasting thing in the golf world. I've been more focused on politics, but we won't go there today unless our guest wants to, because I'm a sucker for a good political talk, but I try to stay away from those with people that aren't interested in them. So it'll be as desired for today. But our guest today is a great one. I know that you know him well, Claudio. He is the Golf Director of Sales and Marketing for Boyne. So Boyne Golf Director of Sales and Marketing. His name is Ken Griffin. And judging by the email that you had sent me with a kind of like a virtual introduction, Claudio, and maybe you guys can talk a little bit about this, but one of the recollections you have from your time knowing Ken is that he almost single-handedly killed you with the amount of golf. I don't want to say forced you to play, but set you up to play. It sounded like you were golfing like dusk till dawn, or sorry, I should say from sun up till sundown, like 7 days a week, or what's the scoop on that? And Can Ken and you share a little bit more about that? And welcome, Ken, I should say, before we get into all this discussion. But thanks for doing the show.
Guys, thanks for having me on. It's really appreciated.
So tell us, Ken, tell us your side of the story, because I've seen Claudio's side. Like, did you make him play more golf than was physically possible for a human, or is Claudio whining?
Well, I told him he needed to come for a week to start with, and he told me he only had 4 days. So it's really tough to get 10 courses in to see all those varied experiences in 10 days because Claudio, I think you'll back me up on this. It's not only the quality of our courses, but it's the variety of the courses, whether you're looking for lakeshore courses or mountain courses or quarry courses or, a lot of variety, and you can't cover it in a day at around a time.
No, you are 100% on that. It's someplace that I fell in love with instantly from round 1 to round 10. And I have to give Ken some credit here because he did play a fair number of rounds with me. And I think and it was 5 days. I extended it. And I think there was only one round that I did not play, and I just rode the course and took pictures and just so that I could get a feel for it. So that means I have to go back again.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, I didn't play them well, but I did get to play with you. So it got me out of the office, and I got to enjoy the time we spent together.
Well, that was your excuse. Had to get out of the office.
It was working.
I know. You don't have to sell me on working on the golf course.
Exactly.
Ken Griffin is our guest. He is the Boyne Golf Director of Sales and Marketing. And Ken, let's get into what Boyne Golf is all about. The information that I have, and of course, Claudio being the crack researcher that he is, and I'm sure he had some help from you, the list is quite lengthy of accomplishments, of opportunities, of experiences that Boyne Golf offers. And one thing I wanted to highlight, just that popped out of me, best golf resorts in America, according to Forbes magazine, in a list that includes Pebble Beach, Bandon Dunes, Kapalua, and of course, Boyne Golf. So tell us a little bit about what people can experience at Boyne Golf. I guess maybe just walk us through what the actual atmosphere is at a Boyne Golf facility.
Well, the big thing, we started golfing. It kind of started the golf trend in northern Michigan in 1966 whenever we opened the Heather course at Boyne Highlands, and that's a Robert Trent Jones Sr. course. And to say how well Robert Trent Jones Sr. designed that course that we built in 1966 as our first course, as recently as 2019, was a National Golf Course Owners Course of the Year here in the U.S. But it's not the only one. It's not like we have a big 1 or 2 and a little 7 or 8. Golf Digest picked us as Links Quarry course is ranked number 63 in the U.S. for top public courses. The Arthur Hills course is also a ranked course. And for us, it's about quality and variety, but it's across. So we don't want your golf experience to change. We keep our standards the same for all 10 courses. So whether you are playing the Links Quarry or the Heather or one of our other courses, or whether you're playing a course that maybe you hadn't heard about, you're going to get a great golf experience because it's the preparation of the course doesn't change from our most popular courses to a course that maybe doesn't get quite as much play.
But wouldn't you say
Claudio,
that
what were you going to say?
I was going to say that there's a reason why they call the area the summer golf mecca or golf capital.
Yeah, America's summer golf capital.
Summer golf capital. And you've got 3 different resorts and 10 different courses, all within an hour of each other. One that is right on Lake Michigan, another that is kind of the hub for 3 or 4 golf courses, and then a couple of others that are, a little bit of a drive to. Each of them have their own distinct atmosphere or flair that is just makes the whole experience that much more awesome.
Yeah, no matter which resort you stay at, you're never more than about 15 or 20 minutes from Petoskey, Michigan. That's kind of in the middle of us. Our 4 courses at the Highlands are 11 miles north of Petoskey. Then we've got 4 courses right on Lake Michigan that are 4 miles west of Petoskey. And then we have 2 other courses about 15 miles south of Petoskey. So, no matter which, and you can have access to all 10 courses no matter which property you stay at. So we try and make it easy.
Ken, you've mentioned I think some of the reasons why people would come and visit and take part in Boyne Golf experiences, but maybe just wrap it up into a little package. I'm teeing you up here very nicely, and yes, I guess that pun was intended.
Yeah,
With so many options, even in Canada and obviously in the US for people to golf, and we've seen golf explode during COVID. Like, why should someone or a group choose Boyne Golf to head there? Like, what makes it?
It really, it is the three different resort experiences that Claudio talked about. But I mean, golf is number one. That's why we branded it and packaged it as Boyne Golf for all three properties, because it is about quality and variety across. A lot of places that don't maintain similar conditions on the same properties, and yet I think Claudio attests you can drive from the farthest distance between courses is 25 miles. And you can drive from the Highlands down to Boyne Mountain, and you're like, how can the greens putt the same way here that they did up there? Because that's just a standard level that most places don't achieve. And we are really looking forward to having our Canadian friends back across. I mean, in a typical year, over 20% of our guests pre-COVID came from Ontario. And we're really looking forward to having everybody back. But 7-hour drive from Toronto to be there. So that's not hard, or as they tell me at the Toronto show, this is great. I don't have to drive to Pinehurst. I can get in the car, and instead of a 15-hour drive to Pinehurst or Myrtle Beach, I can be there in 7 and have an arrival round. But we're making it easier to get there, not just from Ontario, but right now 17 major cities offer direct service in the summertime into Traverse City, which is about an hour from our courses. And we had guests from 32 states, last year, come and play our courses. So people are recognizing all around that we're kind of centrally located. Most of the U.S. Could get there in a couple-hour flight, and it's not a far drive for everybody in Ontario.
And I've got a young family, Ken, and I'm going to assume that the answer is yes to this question, but family-friendly, lots to do for the kids and everyone else?
Well, we're four-season resorts. Golf is actually the second sport at Boyne, even though that we're number 2 in the U.S. behind, as far as golf resorts. Pinehurst has 172 holes, and we have 163. But our big industry is skiing. We're the third largest ski company in the United States and the largest privately held. So we're year-round full-season resorts. Michigan's largest indoor water park's 88,000 square feet, and it is located attached to the hotel at Boyne Mountain. We've got zip lines, mountain biking, horseback trail rides, flat cart paths into the local towns, or, bike paths and walking paths into the local towns. So restaurants on property, 10 to 15 choices at each property as far as where you would want to eat at Boyne Mountain and Boyne Highlands, and a number also at Bay Harbor. So, we do offer that well-rounded vacation, 14 wineries located between our properties. So we realize that while you may be able to start playing golf at 7 in the morning, and where we're located in Michigan, you can play golf till 9:30 or 10 o'clock at night for most of the summer. Most people want a round or two and a well-rounded vacation, and that's really what we think Northern Michigan has to offer.
If I could throw in just my 2 cents on the quality of the golf courses. A lot of times you'll go to a world-class golf resort, and they have 1 or 2 really great golf courses, and then they have, I'm going to call it a dog track, or you go, oh, I don't want to play that one. There's one thing about Boyne Golf is that every golf course is worth playing. There's not a weak one amongst them. So I think that's one thing that stands out. And then the other thing that stands out is that you have that cut above the rest when you're talking about even just checking in or driving into the inn at Bay Harbor. That is just a special experience. And then the golf course is right there with several holes right on Lake Michigan.
Well, and Claudio, we to stay ahead of the game, it's work to do that. And you and I have been talking over the course of the last year, even with COVID, all that we've invested. We're making upgrades to the Donald Ross Memorial Course. We did hole number 1 last year. We're working on hole number 15 this spring. But to it's a replica course, and we think we could thought we could do a better job than we did originally. So we're doing it there. We also made changes to the Moore course. It was a great tournament course, but recreational golfers didn't like it as much. And we brought Ray Hearn in to make some changes to both there and to Crooked Tree Golf Club to make it a more enjoyable golf experiences. And we're continuing to work on other projects this summer and into the future. And as well as the courses, we're also doing that with the resorts. We've got some transformational changes coming at Boyne Highlands. We remodeled and upgraded 80 rooms in the north wing of our main lodge. At Boyne Mountain, kind of a renaissance. In both cases, we took older hotels that we continue to do upgrades in, but we really went in and took them down to the bare walls and redid them. So just an outstanding, we've always had great accommodations for somebody coming as a buddy's trip or a gal's trip and wanted to stay in, condos there by the course. But now we've got regular room facilities that will stand toe-to-toe with some of the nicest rooms you'll ever stay in, both Boyne Mountain and Boyne Highlands. And, of course, like you said, the Inn at Bay Harbor. There aren't many places fortunate enough to have a Marriott Autograph that we own on the shores of Lake Michigan with 125 rooms.
Okay, now that you've touched on that, you've set off something. Tell us about the beds.
Oh, the beds. Well, for years, even before we had the Autograph Marriott, we had Boyne beds. We have these beds manufactured to us here in Michigan to a pretty high standard. And no matter whether you have our most expensive room or our least expensive room, you have this Boyne bed. And, Marriott is known for their beds. And whenever they were doing the chiefs of Marriott came in to do their tour for Marriott, they said, hey, you're going to have to put a Marriott bed in. There's no question about it. And we said, well, our beds are actually pretty good. And they're like, no, it doesn't matter. And we're like, okay, we'll do that. They stand in at the first night, at the meeting the next day, they're like, you can keep your beds. You can put these beds in those beds. They said it's every bit to our standards, if not. So anyway, you get a good night's sleep because we give you a lot to do and tire you out, as Claudio alluded to at the start. So we certainly need to give you a good place to rest and re-energize for the next day when you're here.
Well, being a lifetime, platinum, titanium Marriott guy, I've spent a lot of nights in Marriott rooms, and I can appreciate the beds and your beds since I have stayed there.
Well, all right. Very, very proud. Last year, I didn't hear last fall's results in all honesty, but last year from January to June, there's only just over 100 Marriott Autographs out there. And from January to June of 21, we were the number 1 ranked Autograph for service.
Wow.
So you not only have a great bed, you're well taken care of.
Yeah, that's no doubt. Now, what about, do you have any, I've always known Boyne to have some special packages for whether that's for Canadians or for any of our friends in the U.S. Have you got anything great that you want to incentivize anybody with?
Well, okay, so we let you build stay and play or unlimited golf packages. So you can do either, you can combo them up. I want an unlimited red this day. I want stay and play on the day I'm leaving. You can do that and build your own packages. What's a little bit different for us, and maybe not so much because we have 10 courses, a typical stay for most places is 2 nights. And for us, our average is 3. But our next most common is 4. Our next most common is 5. Then it goes 2. Then it goes 1, just because we have so much to experience. And the other packages that I think are some of the best value out there, we'd always had a great escape package, and that was come in on a Sunday night and leave on a Friday. But we found so many different people want to use that different ways. So that's kind of gone away, but now we actually have 2 packages. One's called a Super 5, which harkens back into the early 90s when we only had 5 courses. So it gives you unlimited golf on 5 courses, check in Sunday night and leave on Friday. But the other one is the Michigan's Magnificent 10 package, and it really alludes to where we are today and the best that we can offer. So you actually get 2 rounds at Bay Harbor Golf Club. And then you get unlimited golf on seven of the other courses that we own. Once again, it's a Friday night or a Sunday check-in and a Friday night check-out. And the prices on those starting at prices range from about $1,100 US to just under $1,900 US. But for an entire week with unlimited golf, when, sometimes the Bay Harbor courses can get up to, if you just did a walk-on, the package deal is always better. If you just did a walk-on, those courses will get to $300 to $400 for a round. So when you start including those rounds into a week-long golf, it's an outstanding deal. And of course, like we always do, there are some specials that we have at select time for those coming over from Canada too.
Yes, that's they all love those. And when I was there, I think I was there in September, and the parking lot was full of Canadian license plates.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's all that, but it's really the commitment to golf. At Boyne Highlands, I think there are less than 5 in the U.S. Boyne Highlands has a 32-acre practice facility that you hit from about 300 degrees around. You can hit toward each other. We do our private lessons on the back, so a private lesson is a private lesson. You don't have everybody else walking at your range. We'll do a golf camp on one side. We have a separate range for membership at the same place, plus a huge range for just people warming up, because that facility has 3 courses going just out of that facility. But also part of that, we have a TrackMan range. There's only 40 of those in the U.S., so it's kind of like Top Golf meets green grass in the summertime for us. So you bring your iPad or even just your phone and pull up the app, and all the measurement tools that you have or the games that you want to play, you can do right there on TrackMan range. And then for club fitting and lessons, we have Gears and TrackMan technology. So Gears, you get dressed up in, I call it the suit of lights, but you have sensors all over you. And Gears does a great job of telling you how your club gets to the ball, from your backswing to your follow through. And then TrackMan, of course, tracks everything that happens afterwards. So it takes our PGA professional staff the time to do an analysis way down. Golf Digest named us one of the top golf academies in the U.S. And as well, Golf Pass just named us one of the top, 2 weeks ago, one of the top 10 resorts in the U.S. to take golf instruction from.
Wow.
And are you signing up, Ken?
What's that?
Are you signing up?
I can't get in. I mean, 3 years ago, I went to get clubs, and it took me 6 weeks for our guys to do an analysis on me. So don't dally. You can book your stuff online right now. I would recommend going to do it, because our instructors are always busy.
I was just kidding. I was actually, you must have been reading my mind when you started into talking about the practice area and all of the, the academy. And I know that you have, camps for couples and for juniors, and that's absolutely awesome. But I want to know if you can read my mind on what I'm thinking that you've been keeping a secret.
I can't.
You can't?
No.
What else do I like to do other than golf? You didn't tell me about these outfitters and fly fishing.
Oh yeah. Well, we're very fortunate. We actually have private trout waters. We have 1.5 miles of private trout waters from the original owner. I mean, you can't get that kind of stuff today, but the original homestead for Boyne Mountain down in Boyne Falls, we have Boyne Outfitters, and of course, the private trout waters are a great draw because we have control of who's there. But I mean, our guys will guide all over northern Michigan, even to some flats fishing up on the tip of peninsula if you're there at the right time in June. It's kind of like bone fishing down in Florida, but it's up off the tip just above Boyne Highlands.
And would you pay the fish so that they'll take my fly?
It's like a wise old charter captain told me. He goes, I can put it in their mouth, but I can't make them bite it.
I love it. Love it.
Ken Griffin is the Boyne Golf Director of Sales and Marketing. Ken, before we let you go, one question for you. Besides Claudio, who is the biggest name in golf that's walked the fairways, any of them in Boyne Golf there?
Yeah. Oh, who's walked it? When we kicked off Bay Harbor, when we opened it in '97, we actually had a shell event there that was Mickelson versus Lehman.
Oh, nice.
And we've have individuals that come up at times. A lot of the coaching staffs from the colleges or coaches will come up in the summertime. They kind of do it quietly. If you're not part of our team, you don't even really know they're there because it's their getaway.
Yeah.
Their best kept secret. But coaches from the college teams in Michigan will bring their staffs up and have their meetings with a little bit of golf recreation and maybe a little visit to a winery while they're there.
Hey, was Matthew Stafford ever there?
I don't know if Stafford has ever been there. So Matt Adams from the Golf Channel typically brings a fan trip every other year. That's another well-known golf name that's been out there. So we've talked about doing major tournaments, and someday we might. That's certainly not off the table. But the other thing that happens when you bring major events is that you kind of give up your golf course or golf courses for extended periods of time. And we're not quite ready to go there yet. We think we're best at having individuals come in, enjoy, and play our courses with their friends. For us, a typical group is 12 to 16.
Oh, wow.
And our guest experience agents, our group sales doesn't even usually take an event until they're over 40 people because that's the size groups that we deal with. Nobody on our reservations team for golf has less than 3 years of experience booking golf. There's just too much. And you can't book our golf online. You have to call and talk to somebody. You tell us what you want. We'll make a recommendation on where you ought to stay. We have 3,400 beds between the three properties. And whether you want to stay in a standard hotel room or the new hotel rooms that we have at Boyne Highlands, Boyne Mountain, or stay on the water at a Marriott Autograph, or whether you want condos and townhouses, the next question will be, well, do you want to be on Lake Michigan? Do you want to be on a lake? Do you want to be at the resort property, or do you want to be on a course? Where do you want your accommodations to put multiple people? And they'll help you with your rounds. Every course has 6 tee boxes, so we make it easy. We haven't talked men's or women's, but we were named a top 35 golf destination in the U.S. by Golf Digest this spring for women. And part of that is because of the playability of the courses and the fact that we have 6 tee boxes on every course. So we just want everybody to come, have fun, enjoy themselves, and try and figure out when their next trip is because they didn't get it all in the time frame that they were there.
Exactly. Well, the website is boynegolf.com. Ken Griffin is the director of sales and marketing for Boyne Golf. Ken, we appreciate your time and thank you for doing the show. I'm looking forward to heading up there sometime, and I know Claudio's been very excited about talking about these facilities, and I can't believe I've never been there before, but I'm definitely going to be having to take the kids up and make a visit. So,
and you know who we should try to get up there? Somebody who had a great time in Michigan before. I think he played some kind of song or something, and it was summertime in northern Michigan.
Oh, Kid Rock has been up, and Kid Rock has played the courses.
Has he?
Oh, yeah.
Was that like you're trying to hint at that, Claudio? Because it's very, very good.
Well, I just saw an interview about him, and I knew he was a golfer, but I'm guessing when he was 17, he wasn't maybe much of a golfer, or at least he wasn't thinking about golf.
He wasn't thinking about golf then. He thinks about golf a little more now than he did then.
Yeah, and real quick, Ken, we know it's just north of Michigan, and a lot of people drive there from all parts of the U.S., but now it's pretty easy to fly in there now, too, isn't it?
Yeah, everything. In fact, I just got back from the Boston show because even from Boston, there's a 2-hour direct flight now that into Traverse City, and you're an hour drive. So when you can get from Boston, Massachusetts to visit us in a little over 3 hours, Texas, we see Texas, Arizona, Florida, Colorado all have directs into northern Michigan in the summertime. So access has never been easier to enjoy those long days and the $1 million sunsets at night out over Lake Michigan.
Awesome. Can't wait. Looking
forward to having you back over, and Jodie, looking forward to your visit as well.
Great discussion with Ken, and certainly a place that, I need to visit. I can't believe that I feel bad saying it. I just hadn't heard of that place before. So
oh my God. How could you have not heard of Boyne Golf? It's like, it's as amazing as it gets. I think when you've got one property that has all those golf courses, all the resorts, the food is great. Everything there was absolutely awesome.
Yeah, people are creatures of habit, though, and you get into this routine of going to the same spot or the same area, right? You have a comfort level, and if you're not looking for new places, then you can overlook. And I think this is one of those spots that I'm not saying it's overlooked. I'm just saying that I it was not a place I was aware of. But after checking out the website and listening to Ken, like, holy smokes, I'm already in my head like, okay, I got to plan a summer vacation there. So
Yeah, well, that's why I'm going to, believe it or not, I'm not going to anywhere. Well, first off, I'm going to Richmond, Virginia, which
okay,
is not really known as a major golf destination, but they have some pretty outstanding golf courses right there. It just so happens that a buddy of mine is now the GM at Royal New Kent, which
yes,
is, if you've not played a Michael Strantz design course, he
I
was
have
taken
played
from
there.
us way too early, and his courses are absolutely outstanding, in my opinion. Most people either love them or hate them because they are a little more challenging than most, but I love them.
So have you played Royal New Kent before though?
I have not. I've
Okay, so
played.
you're in for a surprise there. It is a challenge.
Have you played it?
Yes, I have.
Oh,
So
awesome.
I played
Yes.
it a long time ago, probably in the early 2000s.
Well, it's
So
along the lines, I would assume, of Tobacco Road or Tot Hill Farms down in North Carolina. So, yes,
yeah, no,
I have an idea what I'm in for. It'll be an
yeah,
amazing layout.
you'll enjoy it. There's actually a lot of people from our area here in Belleville, like Eastern Ontario, that Richmond is an area they travel to quite a bit because I think
Yeah.
Ford's Colony down in there too,
Well,
or
it's
near there.
Richmond is like 45 minutes from Colonial Williamsburg,
Okay,
which is where we're heading to next, and the Kingsmill Resort,
yes,
and yes, Ford's Colony, yeah,
yeah,
Ford's Colony. The Gold Course at Colonial is one of the top in America. I think it's
yeah.
number 43.
So it's yeah, beautiful spot. Claudia, I wanted to ask before we wrap this up because I know that you were working feverishly on getting a sponsor. I was coming down pretty hard on you on like, hey, get some sponsorship going for this program, man. Like working you like a dog, and I'm putting you on the spot. It's probably unfair, but sewn something up? Like you got something to report back to me?
As a matter of fact, I do, and it's all
Oh, here we
good.
go.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Well, as much as I love Boyne Golf and everything about summertime in northern Michigan, there's one place around the other side of the world that if I had gone there when I was 40 years old, I probably would have never come back. Thailand. So the Tourism Authority of Thailand has jumped on board with us, and it is an amazing place. It's everything a bucket list destination could be, should be. The golf is outstanding, but there's so much more to what I would consider makes up a bucket list destination than just the golf. And they have so much there, and everybody should make that trip once in a lifetime.
So when you're golfing in Thailand, obviously I've never done that. So you have golfed in Thailand, correct?
I've been to Thailand 5 times, I believe.
Yeah. So, but you have golfed in Thailand, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So
Absolutely.
when you're over there golfing, is it like, do you carry? Because I've heard of like countries like China and Japan, like you don't when you golf, it's like such a different experience. It's like you're there longer. Someone gets all your clubs for you. You always have a caddy. Is that what it's like in Thailand as well?
You were talking about the country that set the standard for service and the caddy experience.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
there's everybody else has kind of jumped on board. I would say that nobody does it better. I would say, and I've been all over Asia as with my role in IACTO. Um, and the only people that I would say would be as good are possibly in Indonesia. But everybody makes fun about, oh, they're caddies, they don't know anything, they're just carrying your clubs. These girls are very proud of what they do, very knowledgeable, they're well trained, and they deserve the utmost in respect. And I mean, you're looking at basically a fee of $10 to $15, which I normally give them twice as much because I've never had a caddy that didn't do a great job. And they make a pretty good living of it. It's an honor to have a job as a caddy.
Well, there you go. So we are excited to have, I don't want to screw up the name here, but is it the Tourism Authority of Thailand? Is that right?
You got it. You're a good listener, Jody.
Well, I try to be. So we're excited to have the Tourism Authority of Thailand on as a presenting sponsor of this program, the Golf Guys with Claudio and Jodie, and we're excited to see what the future holds and where we go from here. But Claudio, I'm looking forward to golfing with you soon. We'll be doing it soon enough. We got some tournaments scheduled for the summer, so that's good. I'm looking forward to beating you on the golf course because I don't know if I've ever played you competitively, but that will happen.
Doesn't take much to beat me.
Yeah, I've heard that a lot before. I don't fall for those tricks anymore from people, so we'll see what the future holds. But enjoy the rest of your week, and we will talk soon.
Yeah, you betcha, man. And we're gonna get these folks or somebody on from Thailand maybe sometime in April. And we're going to take our listeners all around fabulous country.
Yeah, who would be the person we talk to about that? Or I know you're setting it up, but
well, we actually have. Speaking of somebody who went there and never came back, we have a fellow named AJ Easton who's from Calgary.
Oh, okay.
Who actually runs the Asia Golf Experiences. So I am actually doing a little bit of work with them right now, and we'll probably have him and someone from the Tourism Authority of Thailand. The last time I did one of these, it was with a young lady, and we respectfully call people from Thailand by this little proverb, I guess, Kun, Khun, and so it would be Kun Tippy that will be joining us more than likely along with AJ.
Excellent. All right. Well, I'm looking forward to it. Again, thanks to them for their support. And Claudio, we will talk soon. Enjoy the rest of your week.
You betcha, buddy. You too.